on, or what are your plans?
Definitely. I'm gonna go into a festival, but right now with this movie, I'm trying to film it and sell it. See if a mainstream company picks it up, like Lionsgate, because, like you were saying earlier, the whole horror thing is taking off, and this is the time for it.
Why do you think people are so into horror films lately? I feel like there was this gap, maybe even in the 90s, where it kind of slowed down, and it's just really picked up. Why do you think that's happening?
Movies right now is in top demand, I guess, because we haven't seen any good ones lately. Like this year, it's only been like a good handful. So now they're going to start turning it up again.
Do you think there's an overflow almost? Because you said only a handful were to your liking. Do you think they're kind of spewing out too many?
Well, I honestly think they need more for the theater. Everything is more independent, straight to DVD. There's hundreds of horror movies that come out every day. Yeah.
But you want yours to go out and distribute in theaters, right?
I want to make something for the theater. I think it's that time.
It's definitely time for you. I think you've earned your stripes. Yeah. How do you go around distribution? Because I think that's the hardest part, because you put all your sweat and tears into a project, but then someone has to put it out there. How do you do it? Because I know you do everything mostly on your own.
Well, I always lucked out. I always come into actors, always meet actors and hire actors who just love the script so much. They're always willing to, okay, I'll put such and such forth for you. And it's been like that. It's like every time I make a movie, I meet someone that's always willing to invest.
That's wonderful. So when it comes to distribution, you always just get lucky with someone who offers to distribute it?
Well, once you get one distribution deal, that company's open. Like the company that distributed the crate, at any time I could be like, here, there's this movie, but I'm going with a different direction with this one. I'm trying to take it up, turn it up a little further.
That's good. And do you have any of the films available on Netflix?
No, not as yet, because there's a lot of licensing situations with Netflix. I remember when I first got Netflix, everything was on there. Now, they summed it down. The best time to have that is when it first came out.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm working on a couple of projects. I got a couple of scripts in the works. I'm working on a series called Dead.
Oh. That's very straight to the point.
It's about a girl. She hangs out in the cemetery all day telling stories.
She's like a cemetery guide?
She's just like a weird girl who's like rejected, from the world. Like she's just one of those girls where she hangs out in weird places. So she's gonna like open up every week and tell a different story, like something like Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, that sounds cool. So I wanted to ask you what you thought about the horror genre in TV, because I haven't been able to catch up with American Horror Story, but I hear it's awesome and everyone's addicted to it who watches it. Would you be interested in doing television, and do you think it's necessary in prime time?
Well, I definitely will, because I haven't seen a good television movie since Salem's Lot.
Oh, I remember Salem's Lot.
Stephen King,
yeah.
Salem's Lot. I'm not really fond. They have a dead show right now, like a zombie show that comes on.
The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. I'm not a real big fan of it.
Are you not a big zombie fan, or you're just not a big fan of that show in particular?
I'm not a fan of that show. The last series that I seemed to watch that dealt with anything with horror, and I loved it, was 6 Feet Under. That was a great HBO show. I think they made a few mistakes. They took it off too early, and I didn't like how the whole thing wrapped, but it's hard to see a good show. But what I do, like, I'm not a big fan of a lot of things at these times. Like, I'm stuck in the 80s and 70s. So when I have an urge to watch a movie, I'll just watch a whole movie. Like, I'll just watch all of Friday the 13th.
Right.
But I follow the same formula, sex, drugs, you get killed. Yeah.
It's simple, it works, it's scary every single time.
Right.
So what would your concept be for a television show? Would it be Dead?
Yeah, I would call it Dead. I wouldn't put it on like a Channel 7 or nothing. It will have to be picked up by a cable network, but it'll be a half an hour show. Every week I'll have the girl talk for the first few minutes. She'll narrate the story. Sort of like Elvira, basically. Like the way Elvira was in the 80s. She'll tell the story, just like Tales from the Crypt Keeper.
Right.
And then it'll go into different stories every week, like little 20-minute stories.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm working on that. Right now I'm just editing my feature, Hell Time Stories. The footage we got already, we working on that, cutting trailers.
Oh, good.
Teasers. Yeah.
So when do we get to see the teaser?
Well, there's one online right now. If you go to YouTube, under Rakeem Lawrence, all caps, you can see the Hell Time Story teaser.
Excellent. So make sure to check it out. Repeat it one more time so everybody can watch it.
Hell Time Stories. Go to my YouTube channel, Rakeem Lawrence, all caps, Rakeem Lawrence. Hell Time Story teaser's there. The crate trail is there from my first movie.
And do you have any online fundraising? Do you do Indiegogo or Kickstarter or any of that stuff going on?
Well, actually, I haven't had a chance yet, but I will check it out.
In the near future. And they can already watch the trailer, so it'll be easy to invest.
Definitely. Willing to shoot anywhere.
There you go. Yes, do you shoot mostly here in New York? Do you travel ever for shooting?
Well, my first movie, The Crate, I traveled. I shot in Connecticut. I shoot all over. I'll shoot in New York, Manhattan, wherever it is, eerie looking places, cemeteries, woods. Yeah.
What's the scariest place you've ever filmed in?
Oh, the opening of my movie in Connecticut, in Hartford, the lake in the crate. Very scary, man. Bears, woods is always like a crazy place.
Oh, that's because you're an urbanite. You're like, what are all these trees? So scary.
It ain't just that. From past films I've seen, it always takes place in the woods.
That's true.
And I also got this other premise. A lot of people think horror movies have to be based at night. You can scare someone during the day as well. I try to shoot a lot of my stuff during the day because I'm trying to be different with it. Everybody follows the same formula.
I like that, and I actually am a huge fan of watching horror movies during the day. I think there's something creepy about it, and all of a sudden, maybe you have some errands to do and you're walking down the supermarket and all you think is of that creepy creature that you just watched earlier on. I like that.
One of the stories in Hell Time Stories, it's called The Date. It's about a vampire. And the vampire does a satanic ritual and she takes a cross and she steals it from a priest. It makes an inverted cross, which makes a vampire able to walk the day. Oh. So a lot of the stuff in this movie goes on during the day. And
that sounds cool. Vampires amongst us during the day, unheard of. They usually melt or something.
Catch on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. I actually would look forward to that.
Thank you.
That's really cool. You can even make merchandise of upside down crosses.
Right? Exactly. I keep all my props too.
You do?
It's getting kind of crowded.
So you always have a good Halloween costume?
Always, all the time. And we're in the right place for it, in the village right here. Yeah.
Do you believe in the hauntings and things like that? Have you ever been on set and something supernatural happened and you actually believed it, or are you kind of cynical?
Oh yeah, I got stories. When we were shooting The Date, one of the stories in Hell Time Stories, I was seeing things moving in the house, hearing things downstairs, because some of me and my crew spent the night in this abandoned house, and it was a rough night.
Really?
Yeah.
And you weren't scared though, because they're your people.
Yeah, they're my peoples, but a lot of the female actresses wasn't too happy about the situation.
Really? So maybe if we watch some of your films, we'll be able to see a little flash of light or something.
Just might. You never know what captures in film.
That's exciting. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. And would you like to add anything else that you want the viewers to know about?
Yes, anybody who's trying to pursue a film, a career in horror, anybody who's trying to pursue a career in horror, anybody who's trying to pursue career in horror films, just go for your dreams, have patience, and it shall come.
Good advice. Thank you so much. I also wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on taking horror on Broadway.
Horror on Broadway. I see some pretty good horror scenarios on Broadway. I had a chance to see The Evil Dead. They turned it into a play. It was cool. You had to wear a plastic raincoat because the blood would fly on you if you was in the first few rows.
So it was interactive.
Interactive. And I've never seen The Phantom of the Opera. I should be ashamed of myself. I never went to see that yet. I heard they have a Carrie play right now.
That's what I heard too, and I'm very curious about it. I'm just very curious how horror translates on the stage. I think that you bring up a good point of making it interactive so that you feel more involved. Would you do something like a small, maybe 1 or 2 act play in theater?
Right time, right place, yes. Like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, that was the best so far, I believe.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
It's amazing work. I actually like the play better than the film.
Really?
Well, it's not really a play. They act it out while you're watching a movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like a dinner and a show, and it's a live performance reenactment of the film.
Definitely.
Yeah, I really like that. So would you add any music to your horror Broadway script, or would you just make it dialogue?
I would go all out. I would have organs, zombies dancing.
Oh, zombie choreography. Come on.
Choreography. And the tradition of Thriller.
I like it. Well, I look forward to all of your projects. I really hope that next time I'm in town, I can see one of your plays on Broadway or off Broadway. I think that would be brilliant. So if there are any investors out there that want to create a horror off Broadway or on Broadway play, this is the guy to call. Thanks so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, nice to meet you.